Hey! Welcome to our very first Charmed chat. So excited to be chatting about this TV series with the wonderful Josh. Such a comfort show to be watching as well. So we're going to be chatting about episodes 1 and 2 from series 1. So we're watching it right from the very beginning. And I'll just add Josh in because I've just seen him appear. Josh. Hopefully. It's so interesting watching it going down memory lane as well. Just remembering the times when I used to watch it many, many years ago. Hi, Josh. Hello.
Oh, hello.
The Book of Shadows. You're
Just
reading
doing a
in...
spot of reading.
I was going to say you're reading a little spell.
Yeah. I cast a spell on you, Chelley.
Ooh. Oh, what could it be? Could it be to make me not have a cackle laugh? That would be good.
You're already perfect, Chelley. There's no spells required.
Oh, just got all embarrassed. Oh, I'm so excited to be chatting Charmed with you. I know we've been talking about it for like, it feels like on and off we chatted about maybe doing something like for a few years, and then I was like, we've got to do it because I really, really want to rewatch it. And I want to rewatch it with Josh and everyone else who loved the show as well. So, yeah, can't wait.
We used to go back right to the beginning and just remind ourselves why we love this show so much.
Yeah. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're watching it from the very beginning. We're going to do 2 episodes per chat, probably each month. And then we're going to take it in turns to host as well, aren't we, Josh? So that would be super cool as well.
The power of 2.
The power of 2 will set us free. I don't rhyme. We'll think of something.
The power of 2 is coming for you.
Yeah, like that one.
Nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it. So we've come up with some like super fun categories to chat about as well, and just to break the chat down and stuff. So yeah, really excited. Yeah. So what are your memories of Charm then? Because I know you're a huge Charm fan. So what are your memories like? When did you first watch it, back in the day, or?
Yeah, I remember when it first came to Channel 5 in the UK.
Yeah.
Which was like such big news. I was the biggest Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I was the biggest Sabrina the Teenage Witch fan. And I saw an advert for Charmed, and it just felt like this show that had been created just for me. You know, it was like sisters with magical abilities having fun. And I remember that I sat down to watch the first ever episode live on TV.
Yeah.
And my grandparents were over that day, and we sat and watched it together. And I always taped it, so I would tape it off TV. And we sat watching it with, I have to say, my very religious grandparents. And about 10 minutes in, I stopped the recording for the ad break, and my nanny kind of said, oh, well, you're recording it. We don't have to watch it then. And I was like, So I had to like press record and then turn it off and then wait for my grandparents to leave before I could actually watch the episode. So
oh, no.
I was fuming.
Oh, I bet. No.
Yeah. What about you? How did you first come across it?
So I was trying to think about this, and so I don't think I saw the first couple of episodes. Well, they didn't seem familiar when I was watching them. So I think I must have started like halfway through series 1 for some reason. But I was a huge fan, and I can never say his name, and I should have practiced this because you know what I'm like. But I was a huge fan at the time of Julian whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So whenever he appears in Charmed is when I got hooked onto Charmed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Season 3.
Oh, was that season 3? No.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but I've definitely have seen some of the previous series. But I think, like, as you go along, like on Channel 5, sometimes they muddle them up. So I've seen them all out of order. So I don't think I've ever really watched it all chronologically all the way through.
Whoa.
But it was him who intrigued me into watching it because I was a really huge fan of his.
I can't see why. He's not at all attractive and smouldering and
oh dear. Yeah, he did a TV because obviously he was in Home and Away years ago.
Yes.
I'm sure when he appears in the series, we'll have a chat about him. So I'm going a bit off topic, but yeah, he was in Home and Away, and then later on in years, he was in a program called Nick Tuck, and I really loved
Yes.
him in that. So I'm not sure whether I watched it when it first came out. Then
Ah,
I obviously was a
ah,
late charmed
yeah,
bloomer.
yeah.
Mm.
That's okay. That's okay.
But as soon as I watched it, I was hooked. And then obviously reruns on the telly. That's why I say I think I've watched them out of order and not in particular order. And I was a huge Phoebe fan back in the day. So
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see if that changes, if I change my favourite
yeah.
sister. Who was your favourite sister back in the day?
Mine was Phoebe as well. Yeah,
Oh, was it? It was
yeah,
so...
she was just so fun and sort of
Yeah,
she loved the magic, so she was really embracing the fun of the magic. And I think
yeah.
that's like a really appealing quality to her character.
Yeah, oh, it'd be really interesting then as we watch whether we change our mind and
Yeah,
think, well, actually, no,
yeah.
Phoebe's not as good as what we thought. I will be crushed if I think that because I was a huge Phoebe fan. I just loved her style and the way that she was, and oh,
Really
just
funny,
yeah,
like a great sense of humor,
yeah.
great line delivery.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, so, and then I know like over the years you've stayed such a huge Charm fan as well, because sometimes when we've been doing the movie chats, like you say, oh, that random person was in that episode of Charm, and I'm like, whoa, Josh has
Yeah.
got some knowledge.
There was a time when I could name every single episode. If you gave me like season 5, episode 10, I could be like, "Why do Mummy Tambien?" Or I could name the actual episode,
Wow.
and I could tell you who the writer was, who the director was. I was such a huge
I
fan.
love
I was such a big
that.
fan that when we went on family holidays abroad in the summertime, I was so addicted to the Charmed forums, which is like what we used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
I would go to the internet cafes, log on to the Charmed forums on the internet cafes to sort of
Yeah.
like engage with comments. And also, there were lots of spoilers going around on the
Mm,
internet. Like lots of people would receive the casting sides for episodes. So the scripts would go out to
yeah.
casting agents to cast the guest stars, and a lot of that information would appear online and they would go onto the
Wow.
forums and you could kind of get little sneak peeks of what the episodes were going to be. So I
Oh,
was like
wow. I
neck
love
neck
that.
deep in Charmed for a long time. So I'm gonna
See,
I'm
I
gonna
feel
try to not be like really annoying and like fanny.
no, you need to be. This is why I
Yeah.
wanted to do this, so we could both fangirl about it.
Yes.
But the talking about the forums, like that was like me with Lost when it came out. The
Ah,
amount of time I lost literally
yes.
looking at Lost on these forums was like crazy.
Yeah.
Especially after series 3, what they did with that.
Ah,
So yeah, but
interesting.
yeah, I
Cool.
was hooked. Oh,
Awesome.
we've got some people in the comments as well. Karen said, perfect timing, guys. I just walked in the door and I saw you going live. Yay.
Yay.
Thank you. Melina put, I first watched Charmed back in 1999 when I was in Germany on my uni year abroad. Oh, that's so cool.
Mm.
Oh, so she followed up saying, so I was used to the German dub voices and it was so bizarre hearing the American for the first time back in the UK.
How
Oh,
funny. There is
yeah.
that, isn't there a sound clip of the Spanish translation of them saying the power of three spell, and people use it on like
Oh,
Instagrams and TikToks and
yeah,
stuff?
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, I love that. We'll have to do a reel doing that. You've given
Yeah,
me an idea
yeah.
now. Karen says, I love how everyone in everything was in Home and Away. Yeah, Home and Away or Neighbours. Someone crops up somewhere, don't
Yeah.
they? Sharon said, I watched it when it first aired as I was living in the US at the time. Oh, that's cool. So Sharon would have seen it before the UK got it then.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first season began airing in October 1998 in the US. So that must mean that it aired in 1999 over here, I guess, because
Yeah, I think it was 99.
Channel
Yeah.
5 wouldn't have had the money to like snap it up super
Mm,
early, I don't think.
no. I
Um,
love how Channel 5 got it as
I,
well.
I
Like,
know.
super
Like they
cool.
were
Because
throwing it away.
yeah, because back then, like everything used to be like on T4 or
Right.
like that Sunday morning slot. When they used to have like Dawson's Creek on.
Yeah.
Um, was it Sunday or Saturday? I think it was a Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And like that whole morning slot. So they used to like snap up all the good shows. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that Channel
I
5 got it as well over
yeah.
here. I
And
love that.
I don't know what the picture quality was like for you where you lived, but in East Anglia, Channel 5 was really
Yeah,
hazy. It was
it
so
was.
cheap. You couldn't get really good reception ever on Channel 5. It was so annoying.
Yeah, I remember the hazy picture, definitely.
Yeah. And they used to buy up all that. They used to have like the Red Shoe Diaries, that steamy David Duchovny
Yeah,
show. And like
forgot
they used
about
to have
that.
late night softcore smut on. It was such a bizarre channel. And then Charmed. Like what?
And now they have like all creatures, so they've
Yeah.
changed, they've evolved.
They've changed. Yeah.
Oh dear. Kirsty said Piper was her favourite. Melina said
Interesting.
Piper was her favourite. Nikki said Prue was his favourite.
Cool.
Sharon loved Phoebe. She was the naughty one.
Yeah, the youngest.
Yeah. Um, Phoebe was my fave originally. When I rewatched it, it was Prue. That Sarah said that. Ah, so it'd be interesting
Cool.
if we change.
Mm.
Karen said Josh's IMDb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Charmed DB, that's me.
I'm proud.
Yeah.
Sharon said, yeah, love Prue. Forums, those were the days, Melina
Oh,
said. Oh, yeah, those were the
forums.
days. Sharon said the US picture quality was fuzzy too, with ads every 8 minutes. Oh,
Mm.
yeah, can
That
you
would have been the
imagine?
WB. I
Oh,
wonder, yeah.
that would drive me
Yeah,
insane.
totally.
And Trina said Prue was my fave, but I'm the oldest sister. Prue was my fave, but I'm the oldest sister. Ah,
Interesting.
interesting.
So
Yeah.
you related more to Prue being the eldest rather than just
Mm,
going completely opposite direction and loving Phoebe.
yeah, I like that. Oh, I'm so
Mm,
intrigued to see if we all change our minds on which sister we like the best as we go
yeah.
along. Oh, right. So, shall we kick off then with
Yes.
series 1, episode 1? Something Wicca, this way comes.
Do, 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 do.
So basically, this episode, I've done a little summary. So Phoebe Halliwell returns to San Francisco after losing her job to live with her older sisters, Prue and Piper, who have recently lost their grandmother and inherited her house. During their first night together, Phoebe finds a book of witchcraft and recites an incantation that leaves the three sisters, sorry,
The
with
Sisters
powers.
3.
The sisters three. I should have read it like that, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
It leaves the three sisters with powers that they were destined to have. As they begin discovering their new abilities, a warlock that has been killing local witches targets the sisters. Dun,
Ooh.
dun, dun. So we've we've split the chat into like categories. So the first category we've got is the sister bond. So where we just chat about the sisters and what they've been up to in this episode. So what did you think of the sisters in this episode? Because obviously it's an introductory
Yeah.
episode.
I think like right off the bat, you get such a clear sense of who they are individually, what their main characteristics are as sisters, what the hierarchy is within their sisterhood.
Mm,
And I feel like you completely believe them as sisters right from the off.
yeah.
I think the casting is brilliant. I think that Shannon Doherty,
Oh, oh,
she
genius casting.
it's so
Mm,
smart because she was best known as sort of like bad Brenda from Beverly Hills 90210.
mm,
Everyone thought she was the bad girl of Hollywood. She had sort of a reputation for being difficult, which maybe wasn't necessarily the case. I think that she was very much living in the time when young women in Hollywood were treated quite poorly, and I think she was
mm,
quite a strong character who was vocal about fighting back against that.
yeah.
So it's great to see her go from like bad Brenda to sort of control freak
Yeah.
Prue, who has to have everything in order, who has to have the last say on everything.
Mm,
Um, yeah, but I think all three of them are just perfectly cast, and you sense their bond
yeah.
immediately, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think whoever did the casting was a genius because originally there was a different Phoebe, right, in the pilot
Yeah,
episode. So they obviously switched Phoebe out.
Yeah, they shot a 30-minute presentation, which is what they took to the network.
Yeah,
And that had a different actor called Laurie Rom. She played Phoebe.
yeah.
But then when the series got picked up to pilot, I think, um, she bowed out for personal reasons. I think, and don't
Oh.
quote me on this,
Mm.
I think that she is a Catholic, and she might have
Oh.
had some reservations about playing a witch
Oh.
due to her religion. Um,
Interesting, yeah.
so she
Mm.
bowed out. I think I have seen that 30-minute presentation because nerd. Um, but I think she brought something a bit more sort of theatrical to the role. She wasn't quite as
Oh.
funny as Alyssa Milano. It,
Yeah.
it maybe had more of like a practical magic kind of vibe when she was
Oh,
involved.
interesting. Yeah.
And the fact that she then left actually kind of like was a sort of a blessing in disguise because Alyssa
Mm.
Milano came in with all of her sitcom
Oh,
training and just
perfect.
injects this comedy aspect that really
Mm.
lifts it and gives it a fresh dimension, I
Yeah.
think.
It just gives the sisters like that perfect contrast. Even like
Yeah,
before they get their powers, like or they know what their powers are, you know how individual, but it's so strange, like individual, but even though they've got that conflict, you can tell how much they love each other, and I really
yeah,
love that.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Like they're not
yeah,
being nasty and mean to each other. They're kind of like they're being snippy, but in like in a loving kind of way, you know,
yeah,
like
sibling
there's love
way,
there. Yeah, exactly.
sibling way. But like you would all, if you didn't know that they weren't sisters, like you would think by the way that they had bonded before that first episode that they actually really were.
Yeah,
Like it was just
yeah.
perfect casting, just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think
Oh
it
dear.
helps that Shannon Doherty and Holly Marie Combs were friends for
Oh,
before the show.
were they? Oh, I
Um,
love that. I didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah, and obviously I knew they'd stayed friends after the show. So, oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
they'd been
Yeah.
friends for 10 years, and Shannon really wanted Holly for Piper, and the network said no,
Mm. Oh.
because they wanted like a star. They didn't think that she had like star quality.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I know. Even though she'd been on a series called Picket Fences, which is written by David E. Kelly, who
Mm.
did Ally McBeal, um, and Shannon basically like dragged Holly Marie Combs into a meeting and was like, "Come on, we're doing
Yes.
this," and she did. She got the part, and thank
Go
God because she's
girl.
brilliant.
She's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. Oh dear. Sharon says I'm the oldest too, but behave more like Phoebe. Yeah. Speed Rating said for some reason I didn't get into Charmed in the 90s, but I've started for this chat. Oh, so we've
Oh,
inspired.
nice.
Yeah,
Newbie,
that's
welcome.
lovely. Yeah, and I think Prue is my favourite so far. Oh, interesting.
Cool.
Pages in the Graveyard said I need to rewatch this series. I honestly haven't watched an episode since 2002. Well, we're working
Wow.
our way through series one, so yeah, join
Join
us.
us. Oh, spooky.
So, the power of two.
Listening for you.
Stargazer said I was late getting into watching Charmed. I watched it about 10 years ago and got hooked. These first couple of seasons are pretty dated looking now, and I love
Oh.
it. Yeah, that whole atmosphere, like it
Yeah.
was really 90s, wasn't it? That whole opening
Yeah.
scene, like where like you see the camera panning through the neighborhood, and like I had some really dodgy music on mine because I think on streaming they've lost the licensing to the music, haven't they?
Yeah.
So it was sounding like porn music.
Oh,
Like
wow.
sometimes it was like, and I was like, I said to you, Josh, didn't I think I'm gonna have to treat myself to
Yeah.
like the Blu-ray or something. I can't deal with it. I need
Maybe
the
that was like,
original.
maybe that was the Channel 5 edition, you know? They just
I
put
need,
in the sexy music.
I need the original music in there.
Yeah.
It does make a difference though, having a different soundtrack because,
It really
like
does.
some scenes, like I looked up the music that should have been in episode 2, and I was like, oh, I can just,
Natalie
I
Imbruglia.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that one wasn't on my one.
Yeah.
I had some like boom chicka wow wow music. Oh
It's
dear.
got its own place.
Yeah.
I do agree, though. I think that the opening scene of the first episode feels like I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's got
Yeah, it's got
that blue wash. It's got the guy in the
yeah,
trench coat.
got that
Very much late
tone
90s.
and feel, hasn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But he does what it says on the tin as well, and I kind of like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Karen said there is a lot of drama for one person's week to lose their job, lose their grandma, and move home to live with your siblings. Yeah.
Yeah.
The sisters dealt with it well ish.
Yeah. You got to move fast in TV
Yeah.
land, you know.
I mean, I loved that whole conflict between like Prue and Phoebe, and the way
Yeah.
they did that, and the way that then it softens, like in that pharmacy scene when they have
Yeah.
that big argument in the pharmacy, and I
I
thought,
was, yeah, I was interested to see just how quickly they did soften up, because I feel like if this had been like a more recent show, maybe they would have kept their relationship much more fraught for longer.
yeah,
And they
that's
didn't do that
true.
at all. They really sort of like came around to each other really
Yeah,
quite quickly, I felt.
yeah, I did. Especially as like Phoebe's the one who gets them all into like the hot
Yeah.
water with reading the spell and all that. So yeah, I love
Yeah.
that scene. Thought it was really good. 𝐒𝐤𝐜𝐚 said, love Charm growing up, especially because I had two sisters too.
Oh.
Oh. Stargazer said, I wonder if they'll have a section talking about the backstory of Charmed, which is every bit as
Mm.
entertaining. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Maybe we'll have to have a little look at that. 𝐒𝐤𝐜𝐚 said, didn't know there was a pilot episode, so we'll have to see if we can watch that, definitely.
I bet it's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, it's
There's
gotta
also
be.
on YouTube. I suddenly went down a massive like black hole, wormhole, I don't know. I went
Witch hole.
yeah. They've got a lot of the dailies for Charmed. So they've got a lot of the original shot footage where you can see like behind the scenes, like doing new different line readings and cut scenes. It's all on YouTube. I don't
Oh
know
wow!
how it
I'm gonna
ended
have a
up on
look at
there,
that.
but
Yeah,
yeah, you can a rabbit's hole, that's the one. Go
yeah.
down a right rabbit's hole with that.
A rabbit hole. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have a look at that.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that, behind the scenes
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Trina says the photo of them moving closer together was weird.
It is a bit
Like,
weird, isn't it?
yeah.
It's a metaphor.
But do you find them believable as sisters from the start? Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And 𝐒𝐤𝐜𝐚 says, I love the dynamic between the sisters. Yeah, they definitely did well. Speed Rating said, I looked up the actresses and I saw the person who played Prue and the person who played Phoebe didn't get on. Oh,
Yeah.
later, later on in, well, when we get, I can't, tell me what series it is when Prue's not in it.
She leaves at the end of season 3.
I thought it was
Yeah.
season 3, yeah. So it was around
We'll
that
get to
time,
that. We'll
wasn't
get
it?
to that.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll have a little chat about that. Kirsty said, "How soon is now," which is also used in the craft, for the theme tune. Might have to switch to my DVDs from Prime. I would, Kirsty, because like I would find it really hard to watch on streaming just because the music was just so weird. I just couldn't connect like properly with it. It was strange. But obviously it's because I know that there should have been music in there.
Real music.
Yeah. Melina said I collected the DVDs. Yeah.
I've got, can you see mine? Oh, they're right there.
Oh yes, I think I see them.
There.
Yeah, I see them over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There they are.
Oh, are they the DVDs? Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I've got the
that's
Blu-rays
cool.
as well.
Yeah, I
Have
know.
to.
Oh, exciting.
The Blu-ray, I have to say the Blu-ray looks amazing. They were
Is
all
it?
remastered. All 8 seasons were remastered. Even the special effects look great. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes they look a bit fuzzy if they're old, but actually they seem to have remastered the special effects as well. So if you're going to watch it, Blu-ray all the way, it looks great.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely tempted. I said to you, I'm definitely gonna. Lane's Library said Charmed is my favourite. I recently finished collecting all of the books. Oh yeah. See, I've gone down a rabbit hole of the books now.
There's like 35 of them or something. There's
Yeah, I think
loads.
there's like 40 something, I think I read.
Whoa.
Yeah, there was quite a few. And I've only got 3 so far, so I've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Nikki says, I have a lovely big poster in a frame on my wall signed by Shannon, Holly, and Alyssa and Rose.
That's
Oh, I love that.
amazing.
My pride and
Oh,
joy. Oh, I love
oh.
that. And 𝐒𝐤𝐜𝐴 says, what power would you want? So out of the powers that they get,
Ooh.
what powers would you want?
I mean, I would want to
Oh,
freeze time. I never have enough time.
yeah, I think freeze time
Yeah.
would be good.
I'm
So what?
pretty
Hang on, my
lazy
mind's
already,
gone
so
blank now.
yeah.
I'm
I
trying to
wouldn't want to know the
think.
future because that would just
No,
mess with my mind.
no, I wouldn't want that. And
I wouldn't
no,
even want to move things with
yeah,
my mind because I'm already quite lazy. I need to be able to get up and move things around physically, you know?
yeah. I think definitely freezing time would be good. And it's interesting how they do the power. I'm jumping a little bit ahead to episode 2, but that you only freeze in that moment and not anything that's going on outside as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely
Very
think
cool.
freeze time would be good. And a few Trina and 𝐒𝐤𝐴 were saying, is that a labyrinth calendar, Josh? And a Jareth poster?
Yeah, there he is.
Oh
That's
dear. Star
Jason over there. You see
I know.
Jason?
He's like looking at me. I've been keeping one eye on him. Stargazer said if they made the special effects look amazing in remastering, then they must be remastering wizards.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Love it.
Jamin said I'd want to blow shit up as a power. Trina said I'd want to move things with my mind. And Karen said I want a different power, the power of
Oh,
preparation. So I'm instantly prepared for
oh,
whatever shenanigans befall me.
that is
That's a
very
good one.
nifty. I'm not sure. I wonder if they ever did that in the show.
Mm.
That sounds familiar. There's a couple of like
Yeah.
efficiency spells they
Yeah.
do, I think.
Ah,
Maybe it was in
okay.
Sabrina.
Mm,
Yeah.
we'll see as we go along.
Yeah.
um, so we've noted about the mythology of the show as well. So obviously,
Yeah.
when Phoebe does the spell, and then she goes down a rabbit hole herself, like looking into stuff, and she explains to Prue like the 3 essential elements of magic are timing, feeling, and the phases of the moon. And I kind of
Which
like
I don't
that.
understand. That is a Wiccan tenet, but I don't actually understand what that means.
Yeah, yeah. I
Maybe a
was like,
Wiccan can
oh,
explain it for us.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, did you like the mythology that they built up in this first episode? So we know what's going on off the bat.
Yeah, I think they did it quite elegantly, where she is sort of the Phoebe is the one who is taking us into this world and explaining how it's going to work, kind of telling us what we can expect from the show as well, because
Yeah.
she kind of says, you know, we're the most powerful witches in the history of the world, and warlocks are going to come to find us to try to steal our powers, and we
Mm,
have to fight them, and we have to protect the innocent. And it's like, great, okay, well, now I know exactly what I'm going to get over the next
yeah.
22 episodes of this season.
Yeah.
So I think it's done very effectively.
Yeah.
I
I
was a
do.
I was a bit confused when Phoebe said that she'd read all about the history of the Power of Three, and there were like apparently wood carvings and stuff in the book, but
Yeah.
we don't ever see that ever, I don't
I
think.
wonder if there was like a scene edited
Yeah,
out that we didn't see that explains that a little bit more. Hello,
Emma. Hi.
Emma. You
Yay.
can come on if you
Yeah.
like. But
Um,
yeah, and then I like the way how excited Phoebe is as well. Like,
yeah,
going down this rabbit hole, finding this stuff. She's like made to be a witch.
exactly. She's the perfect age. She has no responsibilities. She's just looking for like direction in her life, and this just lands in her lap and goes, right, there's your direction. It's the perfect
Yeah.
time for her to find something like this.
Yeah, no, definitely. And
Yeah.
as you say, I think they did it so well, like setting that up. I know what I'm going to get right off the bat. And it wasn't confusing in a way or anything. And the enthusiasm was there. So I was like right on board with it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. And like Emma said, it's set up really well. No messing about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was a bit I noticed that in this first episode, Prue's powers haven't quite been hammered down. So she does stuff that she never does again. So like she
Mm.
moves the cream, and the cream somehow transfers itself into
Oh
her
yeah,
coffee
yeah,
by itself. And then like when she makes all the stuff fly off the shelves, which is brilliant and one of my favorite moments ever.
yeah.
Um, she kind of, it's not done in the same way that she would do it. It's
Mm.
not done like an active. It's almost like in a passive way rather than an active way. Um,
Yeah, maybe it's because she gains more control over it when she
yeah,
understands it, what's going on more. Whereas
yeah,
they didn't really know. They were like, "Oh yeah, our sister's done this to us and unleashed these powers," but we don't really know what's going on.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. CL Ingram said was mad at Piper for not defending Phoebe when she saw the planchette move without touching it.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But I think
interesting.
that was just showing that initial setup of that there's a slight conflict there.
Yeah,
Which yeah, Prue has the best power, the mad crocheter said.
it is the most fun.
Definitely. So talking about the sisters then, love is pain, they're romance dramas. So many romance dramas.
Yeah.
So in this first episode we've got so Prue has obviously slept with the boss somewhere along the
Oh,
line,
right.
I take it.
Yeah, yeah, Roger. Oh, what a
Yeah.
dweeb.
Oh, what
They're
an
engaged.
idiot. Oh, were they
Yeah,
engaged?
they were engaged.
Oh,
Yeah, and then
okay.
he screwed her over, and she called it off. Oh no,
Don't.
wait, it was Phoebe. He said that. Well, she thought
Oh,
that Phoebe had slept with
yes.
Roger, and then
Yeah, of
he basically was just
course.
like a total
Oh,
gaslighting arsehole.
horrible. Didn't like him straight away.
No.
And I was laughing at his pen leak
Yeah.
because of Prue. Go Prue. And then obviously she meets like hot policeman slash old flame. And yeah, that's going to play into other episodes down the line. So,
Yeah.
and then we had Piper. So poor Piper, her
We're gonna
boyfriend.
say Paul Piper a lot. I'm just telling you now. We're gonna say Paul Piper quite a lot.
Poor Piper. So,
Yeah,
what did you think about Piper's boyfriend, Josh?
awesome. Just match made in heaven. Yeah. I do love that they just start this and that immediately tell us in this episode, right, Piper's gonna have like she's gonna be unlucky in love, and
Oh,
that holds true for the entire 8
yeah.
seasons. Like there's ups and downs, but the consistent thing is that she always attracts boyfriend trouble. And it starts right here.
Oh dear. I mean, as soon as she said like, "Oh yes, my boyfriend. That's my boyfriend," and I was thinking,
Yeah.
mm.
Oh.
Turns out to be a warlock who we don't even get to know like his warlock name, his demon name.
Yeah.
Do we? We just know
Jeremy.
him as Jeremy. Bit of a letdown when you get to all the other demons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Jeremy.
Yeah. He's got such
Oh.
like an old-fashioned approach to love. Like he sends her flowers and a bottle of port uh, to help her with her job. Like in some ways, that's actually quite a nice thing to do because it's going to help her with her job interview and
Yeah,
stuff.
but it was
Uh,
just because he wanted her power.
he did. He was playing the long game.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if they hadn't discovered their powers though. Like, how long would he have waited?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, poor Jeremy.
Ah,
And talking about dramas, we've got a category called Work It.
yes.
So
Exclamation
work dramas,
mark.
exclamation point. So obviously there was plenty of work drama. So we had Prue at the art exhibition, as we've just mentioned, and she kind of quits her job because there's a douchebag that we don't like. And then obviously Piper with the cooking drama, learns
Cooking
how
drama.
cooking drama. So she learns how her powers can help finish her recipe with
Yeah,
the port and thing, which I thought was pretty cool. I like that scene.
really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that their powers kind of pop out, so to speak, in moments of like stress and tension, and sort of like that's the perfect moment that power could have actually happened,
yeah,
which is nice.
yeah. Hi, Cynthia. Cynthia said Prue has my
Cynthia.
dream job.
Oh,
Dream jobs.
a
Oh,
she works. So she gets the job at the auction house, doesn't she? But is that
yeah.
next episode?
That's the next
Yeah,
episode. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in this one, she just quits. But I liked that about Prue. Like, she was like,
yeah,
no, I ain't taking no crap.
yeah.
I quit. And I was like, yeah, go Prue. And I
And
feel
like
like,
he's like sniveling and sort of being like, "Well, don't
yeah.
expect any kind of recommendation." She's just like, "Oh, fuck off."
But I feel like when I watched that scene where she like quit the job and stuff, I feel like that was quite true to her in real life, like the way that she was. And I think that's
Yeah.
probably why she embodied Prue so well, because she didn't take no crap, did she
No,
really?
not
And I
at
love her
all.
for it. I
Me
just
too.
loved her for it. Oh,
Yeah,
amazing lady.
yeah, yeah,
Hi, Georgia. Emma said, I love that Prue is unapologetic about her love life too. Yeah, she
yes,
really is.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll talk about what happens in the next episode because I think it's quite interesting
yeah,
with Prue
definitely.
and her love life. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we've mentioned demon of the episode was Piper's boyfriend, Jeremy.
Jeremy. He
There's no
kind of
sugarcoating it, making him sound bad. It's just Jeremy.
Jeremy, and he's like pretending to be a reporter.
Yeah.
Don't really know why.
No, no.
He does have the honor of being the first warlock that the sisters encounter, so there is that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's clearly quite a low level warlock because
Mm.
I know that like behind the scenes they hadn't quite figured out what warlocks were going to do, but in like the mythology of the series, he can't teleport. He hasn't got fireballs or energy balls or any of that stuff.
He's got no balls.
He's he's got no balls whatsoever. He's all talk, no balls. But he does have a nice jumper.
Oh,
You know?
I wonder what you was going to say there. I was preparing. Yeah, he did have a nice jumper, actually. We'll give him that.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
couldn't hold a knife. He was holding the knife like this. I'm gonna stab you.
At one point as well, I think you see the knife like wobble a little bit as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure you do. And he like pulls it. I'm sure it like wobbles, like you can see it's a fake knife. I think.
I
Either that
wouldn't.
or I was
Yeah,
just distracted.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I did love the spell that caused all the thorns to burst out of him. That was really cool.
Yeah. So we could call him Thorny Demon.
Yeah, so thorny.
Thorny. George just put, that's my boyfriend, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, Trina said holding the knife like Voldemort holds his wand. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
definitely.
true.
So talking about like, I know we mentioned about the special effects and stuff. So did you notice any other like sign of the times in the episode?
The big one was Piper using the payphone.
Oh yeah.
So when she's done her interview, she's like on the phone. I think she's trying to call. She phones home because she's like freaking out that she's frozen time,
Mm,
and she's in the payphone. Which I mean,
yeah.
we've got a payphone box down the road, but it's sort of a bit of it's been painted grey and it's like a novelty. It's not got
Yeah.
anything in it, you know. So
Yeah. Normally
that was
smells
cool to
of
see.
wee.
Yeah, bit of booze, bit of wee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing I noticed in episode one was it was mainly like the clothing and the hairstyle, like especially like Phoebe's hairstyle
yeah,
and like the way her outfits were just really like 1998 style. Like that little V-neck, like crop
yeah.
top kind of thing as well,
With like the
and the
pajama
little clips.
style
Yeah,
trousers. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I give her a due. She looked cracking in it, honestly,
yeah,
amazing. And then the
yeah.
little clips in her hair and the way she got her hair styled, and I was like, that is so late 90s,
I
and like,
love it.
I was there for it. I was like,
Yeah,
yes, those were the days.
yeah. And Prue's rocking the little black dress,
Yeah,
and
that's it. They were
Piper's
in
chef
quite
outfit was
very
good.
formal dress, weren't they?
Yeah,
Like to
it was
start
a
with.
grey dress, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Very formal.
sensible,
Uh,
sensible Prue.
sensible. Georgia said they're not obscenely booby yet.
No, not
Mm.
yet. I did read an interview. So in this book, I promise I'm not going to keep pulling out random
No,
bits of memorabilia,
please
but
do. Please do. We love it.
this book
Oh.
was the official Charmed book that came out around season 6. And something that really jumped out at me was just the fact that the guy, like the executive producer, was Aaron Spelling, who was like old school Hollywood. He was behind like the original Charlie's Angels. He did Beverly Hills
Oh,
90210.
interesting. Yeah.
When he was doing Charmed, he was like in his 80s.
Wow.
So he was coming to the show with like from a particular sort of like age of TV.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find the interview with him that was just a bit like, okay, Aaron. Um, I can't find it now. He basically says, the best thing about this show was that we could play up the magic, the fun, and the sensuality of the girls. And I was a bit like,
Oh.
whoa there, okay. Yeah, oh, here we
Calm
go.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said, if you can combine serious special effects with humor and the sensuality of these girls, I think we've got a hit.
Oh.
Which is definitely one way of thinking about it, I suppose.
I
And
mean, to
you can
me,
see that's what
like,
they did.
yeah, I mean, to me, with I see it differently. What they did with the girls, to me, they showed like the power of three, like with that
Right.
sisterhood. So to me, that it was different than that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
I
So
think he was
it's
probably
funny
coming
that.
at it from like, let's get ratings, what's going to get
Yeah,
eyeballs on the TV show. But he
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
necessarily have like huge influence in terms of like what the episodes were about and
Mm,
how the sisters were portrayed. So that was
yeah,
very much like a Constance M. Burge. She was a creator. She was very much about female empowerment, obviously.
yeah. And I can
Um,
imagine Shannon Doherty being
oh
like
yeah,
the same as well. Like,
totally.
definitely, this is how I want to play Prue, and putting her stamp on it. Definitely,
Yeah,
yeah. Lane's Library said their style just gets better and better as the series goes on. Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Stargazer said Aaron Spelling gave the world Dynasty.
yeah.
Oh, so he's right up there
He's a
with
legend.
Jesus as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
So is he like, Tori Spelling? Is she like a
that's her
relation?
dad.
Oh, that's her dad.
Right.
Oh, I'm learning
Yeah,
so much.
yeah,
Oh, interesting as
yeah.
well. Wonder why she didn't get cast
I
in it.
know. The fourth sister. Sorry, we're getting Rose McGowan in.
Oh dear. Ever said the same as saying guys want to date, then girls want to be them. Yeah, that's true.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And Shelley said a great girl power follow on from the likes of Buffy, yeah, which is what you said as well, Josh.
yeah.
Pages in the Graveyard said the drama of Tori getting all of the roles because he was her dad.
Oh boy, we're getting real now.
Yeah. So did you notice any charming dialogue in this episode that stood out to you?
My favourite bit, and it's very simple, but it's when Phoebe says, "Dad, dad, 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 dad."
Oh yeah, in the
Yeah.
pharmacy. Oh, I love that bit.
It's not complex, but it worked for me.
Yeah. My favourite line was when Phoebe says, "We're the protectors of the innocent. We're known as the charmed ones." And I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, go.
yeah,
I love that. Oh, and I did also like the line where Piper said, "It doesn't matter because nothing happened, right, Phoebe? When you did the incantation." I can't speak. And Phoebe goes, "Well, my head spun round and I vomited split pea soup. How should I
yeah,
know?" And I was like, yeah, because
yeah,
that's what we all expect. You
yeah,
didn't expect
exactly.
like nothing to materialize that we see or
Yeah,
don't see.
yeah,
So I kind of
yeah,
liked that.
yeah.
Um,
Actually, talking about that moment, I don't know if this is ever confirmed by the show, but I wonder if I'm interested to find out if we actually do find this out. Is surely Grams is the one who
mm,
unlocks the attic and lets Phoebe in and like draws her towards the book in the
yeah,
chest. But I'm not sure they
yeah.
ever actually like
Because they couldn't
outright state
open
it.
the attic door before Phoebe got there, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe it's because they all had to be together
exactly.
to
Under the
open the
same
door.
roof
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
full moon.
definitely. Yeah. Ooh. So who was your sister of the week, or sister of the episode, sorry, in this episode?
Um, I think it was Prue.
Oh, it's different to mine.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I loved Phoebe and I loved Piper, but for this episode, I think Prue is the one who makes it real for us
Yeah,
because, Phoebe's being all like, la la la, isn't this amazing? We're witches now. And Prue's always
yeah.
like, wait, hang on a minute. What do you mean you turn me into a witch? Um, she's the voice of the audience who are kind of
Yeah,
thinking, yeah,
voice of
okay,
reason, like reality.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
liked her a lot.
interesting. Because I wrote down Phoebe for my favourite in this episode, just
Ah,
because she's like the first of the sisters to embrace the supernatural. She's the one who reads from the book. She gives them their powers in the first place, and I just loved how quickly she just accepted that. No question. She was just like, "Yep, this is my life
yeah,
now." And I was like, oh, yeah. So for me, like, it was Phoebe
yeah,
in this
nice.
episode.
I completely agree. And also, I just want to give a shout out to her bike that is in this episode and never ever again, which she bought from New York and she never uses it again.
All the way from New York.
Yeah, we've all done
Uh,
it.
yeah, been there, done that. CL Ingram said it was interesting to see how many horror tropes were mirrored in this
Yeah,
episode. Yeah, definitely.
the show definitely did try. I think the show was struggling a bit at first to decide if it was doing the X-Files, if it was doing sort of a
Mm,
cop show thing,
yeah,
if it was doing Buffy, and I think the horror stuff was very much inspired by the X-Files.
yeah, definitely. And Stargazer said Piper was usually my favourite.
Oh,
Chelley said I always loved Prue. I watched this because I loved Beverly Hills 90210. And Trina said, yeah, it's like, ooh, the Ouija board says attic, so let's head straight up there.
yeah,
You have to do what the Ouija board says.
yeah.
Oh dear. So how many brooms out of 5 would you give this episode, Josh?
Um, if I if I was watching it fresh, having never seen the show before ever, I would probably give it 4 brooms out of 5.
Yeah.
But knowing how good it gets,
Mm.
I'm probably going to give it like a 3.5 brooms.
Oh, see, I wrote 4 because it was a good, solid intro to the characters and it set the series up perfectly without confusion.
Yeah,
So to me,
yeah.
I
I
was
don't like
like,
being confused.
no. You know what happens when I get confused, Josh? Like, it doesn't end well, does it?
Yeah. Your head spins round and you vomit
Vomit
wrinkle
pea
liquid.
soup,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
You've seen it.
Yeah, many, many times.
Oh dear. So yeah, interesting. So yeah, we was roughly around the same on that
Yeah,
one then. Oh, I like
yeah.
that. So on to episode 2 then,
Episode
which is
2.
I've Got You Under My Skin. Mm. So in this one, Phoebe meets a photographer who turns out to be a demon who sucks the youth out of young women in order to remain young. And while Phoebe is with him, Piper sees her friend Brittany, who has like a tattoo on her hand. But is that true that tattoos are banned on
I don't
your
know.
hand in certain? Yeah, I meant to look that up actually. I'm gonna look
Mm,
that up after.
yeah.
Or if anyone in the chat knows, are tattoos on your hand banned? It was an interesting comment.
Mm,
So Piper sees her friend Brittany, who we see earlier on in the episode, who is now elderly and has poor memory after being attacked by the photographer. Brittany recognises the address of the photographer, allowing Prue and Piper to arrive in time to vanquish the demon named Javna. I've been dying all day to say that.
me
I've been
too.
practicing.
Java.
Javna.
That's all he said.
And then when they vanquish him, it reverses all the damage that Javna has done. I won't do it all the time, I promise. Oh dear. So yeah, so the sister bond in this episode, what do you think about that?
I think it worked really well because it doesn't backtrack on Prue and Phoebe's sort of animosity loads, but it does sort of make it more complex. You know, they're not just like best friends immediately. They still have issues. Prue is still trying to lay down the law. She's kind of saying we can't really use our powers. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't want more warlocks coming after us. I think this one definitely felt like a drama that had supernatural elements rather than a supernatural drama, because it really was all about the sisters and their relationship and how they were navigating having just, you know, discovered this crazy thing about themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'd liked how in this episode you go from having them being quite not together in the sense of that they're all on the same page, but in the first episode they were quite together in scenes, whereas this one they've got their own little separate storylines going on and establishing those storylines ready for future episodes as well, which I thought was pretty cool. And I loved how
the one main scene that they have when they're all together is when they're in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Which almost felt like a scene that had come out of Frasier, you know, like that kind of farcical, like shit, things are going wrong, everything, you know, everything's getting louder than everything else. Everything's getting worse by the second. I loved Piper panicking over the fact that her freeze was only working in the kitchen. I loved it when she was like, "Oh my God, what?"
The way that they're just learning about their powers as well was done so well. Like that scene is one of my favourite scenes. Just with the fact that I love that it's not just that she can freeze time completely and that it's freezing time in that particular area where she is and like nothing outside of that area. And I kind of like that concept. I just think that's really clever for a time freeze superpower.
Yeah, but I really wanted to see how Andy's watch and Morris's watch didn't match.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
And like I'm sure that you would just kind of go, "Oh, my watch just has glitched, so I'll just fix it to the right time," kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I would love to know how it affected their watches.
Yeah, that would have been like a cool little like, oh, you know, just a little tidbit in there. Yeah, I love that. What else did I write? I put Piper is having trouble, obviously. And I loved the way Piper's having trouble dealing with her fears over her power. Like, could she be like a bad witch? How does she know she's good? And I love that whole conflict and using the church as like an aid to resolve that conflict or know if she's good or bad.
Yeah,
and I really liked that.
It's really well done. And I love that scene that she has with Phoebe in the attic where it's sort of like her finally verbalizing this fear that she has, and Phoebe kind of talking her down and comforting her and reassuring her in like a really nice. It's really nice because Phoebe's the youngest, so you wouldn't necessarily think that she is the wisest or the one who can give the best advice. But in this case, because she is the one who is all guns blazing magic, she is able to reassure Piper in like a really sweet and lovely way, and do it in a way where she's like, "I know you. I've known you my whole life. There's not a chance that you could possibly be evil." It's like, it's really sweet.
Yeah, it's just emphasizing that sister bond that they all have as well. Yeah, because like off the bat, like Phoebe she just knows that she's a good witch. Like she knows it's for a reason. So I think it was really clever of them to write in the fact that they could be bad, because as a viewer, we don't actually know that at that point in time, really, do we? They could be one of them bad, two of them good. Do you know what I mean? So as a viewer, it kind of, you know, it confirms that for us in this episode that they're all good witches, and I liked that. I really loved that scene with the church. I just thought it was really well done. Brilliant.
Really good.
𝐒𝐤𝐜𝐚 said, I think with episode 2 I really liked Piper's moral dilemma of her religion. I think this is episode 2. Definitely. Emma said, so refreshing to have a male sucking the youth out of people instead of it always being a bitter old hag. That's so true. That is so true. Kirsty said, her trying to cross the threshold of the church worked so well. I thought that was brilliant. Shelley said, similar to the episode Anne in Buffy, when Buffy gets caught in the underworld, loved how we got a little more of the sisters' backstory in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Lane's Library said, I like that they have to develop their powers as it adds another element to the show. Yeah, definitely. They've got to learn these new skills that they've got that they didn't know that they could have.
Yeah.
Oh, and Kirsty's read the book that goes with these 2 episodes as well. So she said the main difference in the book, there was no Maurice, just Andy. Oh,
Crazy.
interesting.
Wow. I wonder if they underestimated how big he'd become to the show. How funny.
C.L. Ingram said, I also love that Phoebe was very empowered with her sexuality and was never shamed for anything. She just owned her sexuality. Yes.
Yeah.
That's says, one thing I loved when I was younger watching it as well. That came across to me.
Yeah. She even says, nothing happened last night, nothing I'm ashamed of anyway.
Yeah.
And then Prue says, I'm not ashamed of anything. So it's like, all right, calm down, Prue.
Go, girls. So the mythology in this one, what did you think? So obviously, I wrote down, obviously it deals with the use of the hand of Fatima to defeat the demon.
Very cool.
Which I went a bit of a rabbit hole down then looking like that up a little bit, which I just find stuff like fascinating. I presume it's like, well, I wrote down something about an Islamic charm, so the name being taken from Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. I wrote down, and I was like, this is just fascinating. I love stuff like that. And apparently it's used primarily to protect against the evil eye, which was also mentioned in the spell. So I kind of liked that. Like, so what did you think?
Hands down, or big round of applause for the researcher, because they must have, they must have had to go through so much mythology stuff, research to like find this kind of stuff, which is great. It like lends authenticity, and it's really interesting, like you said, to like deep dive into it and find out what the real life inspiration
fascinating. Anything like that, and then I could look into and then find information about. I just find it so interesting, especially when you can like relate it, that it's true that they've used actual, mythology. Like I love that type of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
How about you in this episode?
So yeah, the big thing that we've already covered is that we find out witches are good, which is quite important for us to understand that going ahead with the show. And then it also touches on personal gain, which is sort of like a recurring theme across the series, which is that the sisters can't actually really use their abilities for any kind of personal gain. So we have Phoebe getting a premonition about the lottery, the winning lottery numbers, and so she plays the game, but then when the numbers come up on screen, they magically disappear from her winning ticket. So that's like that's a theme that really comes to the fore in season 2. But it's nice to see that it's touched upon this early. It's kind of like the show is answering all these questions that we have about, well, what is a witch? What does it mean to be a witch? What can you do? What can't you do? What are the rules imposed by both you and the universe? So it's fun to see those questions being ticked off one by one.
Definitely. And for me, like, because I think, as I said at the start, I don't think I came into it till later on in the series, but then I've obviously watched ad hoc throughout. Like, for me, like, knowing how much they established those boundaries, like at the beginning, and how much work they put into all that mythology and all the rules, essentially, like, it is quite really fascinating to watch and hear, really.
And it's so different to like the other biggest show about magic would have been Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and there were often consequences to her spell casting, but there wasn't really a discussion about perhaps how to use magic, not in sort of like a moralistic way. Maybe it was like, oh, you made a mistake because you're a teenage girl, kind of thing. But it wasn't like, no, morally what you're doing is wrong, Sabrina.
No, exactly that. Yeah, definitely. And like, if you think of, so what year did The Craft come out? Was that before Charmed? I think it was, 96. Wasn't it? And like the way what they do in The Craft, and they do establish certain rules and boundaries, definitely in there. like it's interesting how like as time goes on, I suppose actually now I think about it, obviously younger we're watching Sabrina and that, so we've evolved with the witchcraft and with the
Yeah.
shows that we're watching about witchcraft at the same time as they were writing them.
Oh,
So it's just
totally.
really, yeah, it's just
Yeah, and
interesting. Love that.
I do think that the craft, we wouldn't have Charmed in this form if we hadn't
Yeah,
had the craft. I just don't
yeah,
think it would have happened.
yeah.
And the craft, they were meticulous. They had like a Wiccan advisor
Mm.
on set with them during filming
Oh,
of that movie.
wow.
So there was somebody there really sort of like helping them to be as authentic as possible and as respectful as
Yeah,
possible. And I don't know if Charmed went quite that far, but it definitely set a precedent, I
yeah,
think, for how to deal with magic in like a responsible way where you can
mm,
have fun, but also there is, there are people out there who are Wiccans and have this
yeah.
belief system.
Definitely.
So we
So
have to
they're putting
respect
that
that.
realism
Yeah,
into it as
exactly.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Speed Race said, "Do we know if the couple she gave the winning lottery numbers to were able to win?"
Right.
In my head, they
Yeah.
did. In my
Because
head,
it
they
was
did.
she made it selfish to a degree, but it was initially selfless. She
Yeah.
tells them the numbers before she decides to do it herself.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what 𝐒𝐤𝐜𝐴𝐈 says. Well, I assume so because that's why she got the premonition,
yeah,
so she could do that selfless act. Yeah,
yeah. We don't know
definitely.
that they could have been in really quite dire straits. You never know. So that might have been the reason for that to come through for her.
Yeah. Karen's put, so we're watching Charmed in 2 episode sessions. Yep. Together for the rest of time.
Yep,
Yes.
pretty much.
Because Tote's there for that. So yeah, we're going to do like, at the moment we'll do 2 episodes a month and then we'll work out if we need to do more
Yeah.
to get through them.
Do you know what though? It was actually quite difficult not to just watch the next
I know.
episode.
It was really hard. Like we didn't do
Yeah.
much yesterday because Kev's not feeling very well. So I was
Oh.
like watching them, and then I thought, "Oh, shall I carry on?" And I thought, "No, I'm going to get confused if
Yeah.
I carry on.
Yeah.
I better not." C.L. Ingram says, "I'm sure Phoebe says, well, at least that couple didn't lose their house or something." Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Speed Ratchet said, "Was Sabrina on before Charmed?"
Yeah.
I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah, definitely. Kirsty said, oh, I can never say her name. So you know the main girl in Charmed who was in Return to Oz?
Veruza.
Veruza, that's
Yeah.
it. Who played Nancy is a Wiccan too.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting. Yes, Sabrina was before Charmed. Yeah, we love Veruza.
Yeah.
I can say it now.
Great
I
name.
also, I also love that they use sushi and the banshees a couple of times in the craft. Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Oh dear. Shelley said, "Please do them all." Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Try
gonna
and stop
try.
us.
So in this episode 2, Love is Pain. I
Yeah.
feel this was very much about Prue.
Oh yeah.
Love is Pain in this episode. What did you think of that whole storyline? So she had the one night stand
Yeah.
with Inspector Andy Trudeau. I think we
Trudeau.
say it,
Yeah.
Trudeau.
Yeah.
And he's some type of old flame of
Yeah.
Prue's. I'm
They grew
taking
up
it.
together.
That was
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you
I
like how
love
that was
I
explored?
loved
I
it.
did.
I
Yeah.
felt like that's what really set Charmed apart from everything else that was showing on the
Mm,
WB. In Dawson's Creek and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they were clearly teenagers.
yeah.
So they're all sort of like talking about having sex but not doing it. They're all very
Yeah.
sort of like angsty and overwrought and sort of teenagery. Whereas in
Yeah.
Charmed, like Piper says, high school was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, they just like Prue and Andy just reunited last week, and at the start of this episode, they've already slept together,
Mm,
and that just there's no like umming and ahhing. They just do it, and then they have to deal with what that actually means after the
yeah.
fact. We're dealing with grown-ups here. We're not dealing with teenagers,
Yeah.
which is like a really refreshing element to Charmed
Yeah.
that was different.
And it was because it had that teenage pull you know, for the audience, the teenage pull through it, but also that
Yeah.
adult aspect as well. And it was so like, you know, sex positivity and things. It wasn't, you know, treated as anything like bad.
Oh no, we had sex. What are we gonna do now?
I know. Oh
Yeah,
dear.
yeah,
But I loved that scene with Prue and Andy in the restaurant. I think it is that they go to, and they're
yeah,
kind of discussing like, you know, I think he's more into it than her.
yeah. He's so into Prue.
Yeah,
It's like,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. But I love that whole scene where they're discussing it. He's like, right, let's just start again, and we'll just take our
yeah,
time. And I was like, oh, I think I love him
yeah,
at the
very
moment.
sweet. Yeah,
But yeah, so
yeah,
yeah, I love that whole
yeah. It
thing.
works really well.
Yeah. Karen says, "Am I right in remembering that any band that played in the bar in Charmed became super famous the next week simply due to being on the show?"
I
Oh,
imagine
okay.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why they lost all the licensing for, for streaming. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lane's Library said also with them becoming witches in their mid-20s was so cool, as they always seem to be teens usually. Yeah. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where they got it right. You know, we grew up with Sabrina and that, and then, you know, you kind of, well, I say you grow out of these things, but you know what I mean. And then you want something a bit more grown up where you
Yeah.
feel a bit more edgy.
And
Definitely.
it's sort of like it's complicating things rather than making it less interesting. You know, they've got
Yeah.
jobs, they've got responsibilities, they've got bills to pay,
Yeah.
they've got a cat to feed, you
Yeah.
know, all this stuff going on
Yeah.
while also having to deal with magic. So it
Yeah.
makes it like a really interesting cocktail, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So there was also work drama, so work it.
Okay.
So we discover in this episode that even though Piper applied for the job as chef, she is now the
Chef
restaurateur.
Moore. Yeah,
Because he's like gone and left her with the restaurant. Well, that's how they write him out anyway,
exactly. I was
or
going to
change the
say that
storyline.
clearly the actor didn't want to come back for the second episode after the pilot. Yeah.
Oh, it was quite a good move to make because obviously that restaurant features quite a lot, you know, in
Yeah.
the series. So it was quite a good move to make her in charge of that rather than being the chef. I thought that was good, but
Yeah.
you know, but she's finding it very stressful, as we mentioned. And especially with that showdown in the kitchen, and then obviously
Hmm.
Prue goes for the job at the auction house and impresses the. Was he British? I think
He
he was, wasn't there?
was.
Yes.
Yeah, Rex.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, Rex.
Yeah. Very
Yes.
much a Hugh Grant look-alike.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
really was. Oh,
He's interesting because he's when the show started, the WB were very keen for it just to be episodic. They were like, no, it has to be Demon of the Week, episodic. We don't want any sort of story arcs.
oh.
Um, but I think that there were little ways that the
Mm,
showrunners of Charmed kind of found to just have little bits of arcs going on.
yeah.
So that arc with Prue and Bucklands and Rex as her
Mm,
boss with the bitchy Hannah
oh,
assistant, that does carry on through
yeah.
the next couple of episodes.
Oh, I like that. And
Yeah,
I love that whole scene with the paint falling.
yeah,
Because like you kind of know at that point that there's something not quite what Rex is saying because he doesn't
yeah,
even blink an eye really. What just
yeah.
happened?
I love how they had open tins of paint over these priceless works of art
Yeah.
on the ladder. Like, what were they thinking? Maybe that was
Yeah.
just maybe that was the point. It was a test.
Oh, maybe, yeah, so maybe really he wasn't testing Prue on her knowledge and how much these
No.
artifacts were worth. It was the paint,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh dear. April said, I was so impressed by Prue's knowledge of art history.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah. Like she just knew it. She knew it was a fake. She knew the price. She knew everything. Really good.
Yeah.
How does she
Knows her
remember
stuff.
all this? I can't even remember what I like did this morning.
I know.
Kirsty said in the book of episode 1, Phoebe is really concerned Andy might be a warlock. Glad he wasn't.
Ah.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting because both the first episode and this episode, they didn't really lean into the mystery aspect. They were more concerned with the sibling drama, like a
Mm,
love drama. So I wonder if the book had more of an opportunity to sort of play around with the mystery
yeah.
as well.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting. Stargazer said, I think Melrose Place and Friends led to people wanting to cast adults in Charmed. Oh,
Mm,
every network wanted a Friends slash Melrose Place feeling show back then.
interesting.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Kirsty said Quake is an interesting name for a
In
restaurant.
San
Yeah,
Francisco,
yeah.
famous
Someone was
for
having a
earthquakes. Yeah.
little giggle there, weren't they? Karen said, I didn't get my Hogwarts letter in my teens and I didn't become a witch in my 20s, so I need a show where midlife peeps get magic powers. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah. Speedway Chick said, "Oh yeah, the lift scene in the lift
Oh
or the
yeah.
elevator.
Yeah.
Prue changed it to take her up to the 12th floor,
Yeah.
but she was the only one who got out because I knew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and her new boss was in there in
Yeah.
the elevator. Oh yeah, that whole
Yeah.
scene as well, and she's just surrounded by these men in the
Mm.
elevator, and I thought that was a really powerful scene as well. Like she's just surrounded, and then she does what she does. I thought it was a brilliant scene. I just loved that.
Yeah, it kind of explains her a little bit more as well, where she's very much a 90s, like a woman of the
Yeah.
90s. She's in this corporate world and she
Mm,
is surrounded by men, so
mm,
she really has to be steely and fight her corner because there's all these bloody men
yeah.
around all the time.
No, definitely. And I think it's that just that one simple scene that isn't a very
Mm,
particularly long scene really emphasizes that. It makes
yeah,
me love Prue even more
yeah.
because I was like,
I
yeah.
I did take slight not issue, but I was a bit like, you're not really being truthful there, Prue. And she's like, I did not sneak out. And it's like, no, Prue, you actually did
You
sneak
did.
out. We watched you do it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. She was being a bit trying to save face there,
yeah,
wasn't she? A
she
little
was.
bit.
Bless her.
So our demon of the episode was Javna.
It's Javna.
Or Stefan the
Yeah,
photographer.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they could have like if his name's Javna, it could have been like I suppose we'd had Jeremy in the first one, but should have
yeah,
like gone with the J's, not Stefan.
yeah.
Although he does sound like some type of exotic photographer
He
being
does. Yeah,
called
yeah.
Stefan.
Stefan.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So what did you think about our demon? So obviously Phoebe's kind of like invited to work as a model for him. Which she loves. That strokes Phoebe's ego quite well, doesn't it? She
Yeah.
loves that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so apparently he turns out to be a demon who sucks the youth from women and to stay
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
What did you think of our demon?
Um, it's quite cheesy.
Mm,
His sort of like bright red. I mean, the studio looks quite cool with the bright red lights and the altar and like
yeah,
the lit up stuff. And I think the battle that they have with him is quite fun. Where we talked about Prue doing the Hand of Fatima and stuff. That's really cool.
yeah,
Um, but as a demon, he's pretty low rung. He's not really that much of a threat. And also, it's a coincidence that he happens to be stalking Quake, which is where Piper
mm,
works. It's a
mm,
coincidence that he ends up recruiting or seducing Phoebe.
mm.
Um, I thought his habit of like hiding in the back seat was quite
Yeah,
effectively creepy.
yeah, that was quite creepy. Bit like
Yeah,
urban legendish there, I thought.
totally. And like the bit where
Mm.
his hand grabs Phoebe's face and she screams,
Oh yeah,
that's real horror movie stuff.
yeah,
So that was
definitely. Yeah, that was
good.
scary.
What,
Yeah, but
what did
he
you
was
think
a
of him?
he was a bit like I preferred him as Stefan, the
Yeah,
photographer. He was a bit cheesy. It's like I've just seen someone put the laser eyes tree and I said the eye lasers. Like watching that on just like the normal TV, not Blu-ray or anything. It looked quite
yeah.
funny. But yeah, so
I liked his vanquish. Like the vanquish was quite
yeah,
elaborate. Like he becomes a
yeah,
skeleton, then he becomes a spooky pile of ash that wind blows away, and
yeah. Like I don't know, he was a bit of a weak demon to me,
yeah,
even though he had a lot
yeah,
of power. But because he could just turn, suck the life out of you. But
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like at least it didn't make them like he sucked the life out
guy.
of people. Yeah, but he didn't kill
No,
them.
he was quite nice, really.
And the older lady, Brittany, she
Yeah.
was still like very attractive, so we didn't take their looks away. Like, do you know,
Yeah.
there's
Lovely jumper,
pluses.
lovely dress.
Might have not had any memory, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it was like, I think for a second episode to do something different with a demon, he was decent.
Yeah.
And I did
Yeah.
like the scene where he's sitting in the restaurant and you kind of see that his hand is going aged as well, so
Yeah.
like he needs his feed.
He needs a fix. Yeah.
He needs his eye laser fix. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was
I did
okay.
think
But
that I felt that the shot of whenever one of the women was like strapped up on the altar, I thought those shots were just a little bit too gynecological,
yeah,
just a bit like, oh, is that really the shot you want to go for?
yeah, it was a bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like with the was it? Did they have the arms strapped and the legs?
yeah,
Quite, yeah,
and the camera's like between their
yeah.
legs, basically. It's not
So
particularly
he
elegant.
was a little bit
Yeah,
creepy, wasn't he? But yeah, it was a little bit weak, and he was easily killed. It wasn't
yeah.
really that difficult, was it? Prue had it all under control
I
when
did
she was
love Prue floating. That was very
floating.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
across.
and she
Yeah, I
was
thought
just
that
like,
was cool.
whatever, you're lasering my eyes. Don't
It's
care.
just like, oh, just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they pull the old mirror trick, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, classic.
But
Ooh,
yeah, what?
I
Oh,
also
go
have
on.
to mention Prue's car is so cool.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't really care about cars,
yeah,
but Prue's car is really sexy. Like when she pulls
yeah,
up outside the photography studio and her headlights like flip down.
yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, well, it's all the artifacts that she's obviously sold, and she's
Yeah,
obviously got
exactly.
some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that as well. It was cool. But the thing that did make me laugh was when he says my name's Javna. Like, I did have to chuckle at that. Stargazer
Speedway
said,
chick has that car.
"What? We
What?
need a picture." Oh, I think we might have seen a picture. I think I've seen a picture, haven't I?
Whoa.
I'm sure I have. Is it yellow? I'm sure it's yellow. Or
That's
you used to have
cool.
a yellow one. Karen said you make him sound like a nice version of Imhotep. Yeah, from the Mummy. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Imhotep
was a
and
little bit
Javna.
like that. Kirsty said, didn't Phoebe have a premonition about his name too, but not a warning one? Oh.
Can't remember that.
And Kirsty said it was when he dragged Prue across the room, yeah, with the laser
Yeah,
eyes.
brilliant.
And Kirsty said the dodgy photographers in around Hollywood, pretty apt storyline.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely. And Stargazer said I could use one now where a TV show where the characters have superpowers to overcome arthritis. Oh, bless you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
mystery pains. Yeah. I'd like one for back pain. That would be good. Older
Hair
middle-aged
loss.
witches and warlocks. just anything. Like, yeah. That would be good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have two. A yellow one. I knew you had a yellow one and a green one.
Whoa.
Oh, send us a picture.
You
I'm sure I've seen a picture,
Prue.
but send us a picture. Kirsty's put life size or toy speedway chick. I think it is life size. I think. So did you notice? I know we've gone way over time on this chat, but
It's
it's
the
our
first
first chat.
one,
Forgive
yeah.
us. So sign of the times in this episode. Did you notice any like dodgy 90s isms? Is that a word?
I think the only one that I noticed is the one that you messaged me about.
About the brick mobile phone.
Yeah. It looked so heavy.
Yeah, like so they're having their little talk date, Prue and Andy. So his pager goes off, and I'm sure he says something like, "Oh, modern technology" or something like that, and that made me chuckle because I thought, "Oh, you don't know what's to come."
It's so funny because like I'm watching American TV shows, and they were talking about paging, like when Buffy's like, "If the apocalypse comes, beat me," and I was like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Because I feel like pages came and went so quickly that
they didn't
we
last
actually
long.
just had mobile phones then.
Yeah, and then obviously Prue pulls out this brick of a phone, and I was like, "God!"
She's like, hello,
Yeah.
like as far away from her face,
Because
Tom Jolly style.
I was trying to think, like, can you remember what your first mobile phone was?
Yeah,
So mine was definitely a Nokia
Nokia
with the
30,
snake.
3200 or
Yeah,
3310 or something. Yeah, with Snake.
yeah,
Yeah,
with snake. Yeah,
yeah, that
so
was the
that
best
was
thing
definitely
about
mine.
it.
Although I was thinking, oh, that's the one I remember, but I'm sure I had something before that, which was like an Alcatel or something like that,
Ooh,
some weird
that sounds like a magic
phone.
spell.
Because I always remember I didn't know anything about, well, I knew about car phones because my dad used to have a car phone, but
Whoa,
then I know, a
that is cool.
car
Cool
phone.
dad.
And
Just call me on my car phone.
I always remember, like, if I was left in the car, I used to like pretend like hello. But I always remember my boyfriend at the time, so probably like 96, 97-ish, he had a mobile phone like a brick, and I'd not seen like an actual mobile phone, but it was huge. I don't know
Wow.
how he had it, because like he was at college and he worked at a butcher's
Oh, wow.
like part-time, yeah, and he had this like brick mobile phone. It was just fascinating.
Maybe he got
So seeing
it.
that, I
He
was
got it with
like,
his butcher's job.
yeah,
It's like a butcher's perk.
yeah. Well, he only worked there like on a Saturday. God knows what he used to have to do.
You know, those butchers
Oh no.
rolling in it.
But but I just remember being fascinated that he used to like carry this phone around with him, whereas now, like, I couldn't go anywhere
I
without my
know.
phone. It's
I
like
didn't want a
crazy.
phone. I really remember resisting having a phone and being like, why would I have a phone? It's completely
Yeah,
pointless.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Sharon said I missed my pager, getting to decide whether I called back or not. I had that
Mm.
brick too. So I feel like we missed out not having pagers. Like we missed out
Yeah.
in a short time span not having
I
a
wonder if they'll
pager.
make a comeback because people are getting quite phone sick, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
I
definitely.
wonder if they'll make a comeback.
Maybe.
Mm.
Kirsty said no shell suits in sight though.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I loved my shell suit.
Oh, I just
So
love the
flammable.
sound of it when you walk, like like swish
Yeah.
swish swish.
Yeah.
It was so warm as well. That's what
I
I
used
need
to wear
nowadays.
my shell suit jacket with my stonewashed jeans.
Oh, how
Such a
cool.
cool combo. Never the full tracksuit.
Oh, I love that. Tudor said, I love my Nokia. Shelley said, my first was Nokia 10. It only stored 10 messages. Yeah, do
Yeah,
you
you have to
remember
keep deleting everything. Yeah.
that? Oh, gosh. Um, Stargazer said, the first phones I remember seeing had a big battery pack that you had to
Yes.
carry with you to use it. Yeah, that was
I've
like
seen that
what
in
my boyfriend
something.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a field telephone. The 80s and 90s were so much work. CL Ingram, my first phone had a screw out aerial. Yes! Oh, Stargazer said I was resistant to them too. I didn't get a phone until 2005. And
Yeah.
Speedray Chick said, yeah, my mum had a Motorola with a pull out aerial.
Wow.
Kirsty had a pager working in a hospital.
Oh, of
Ah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
Karen says shell suits were life. Well, we started here.
Right. Next
um,
month, everyone wear a shell suit. Get your old Nokia out.
Shaman said pages were huge in the US, even teens had them. Ah, perhaps it just didn't take
Mm,
off in the
yeah.
UK. Oh, and Trina said, I paid for ringtones and it's
Oh,
never off
yeah.
silent now. My phone is always on silent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we used to pay
Crazy
for
things.
ringtones.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
What were we
Oh.
like?
So, did you notice any charming dialogue in this
Oh,
episode, Josh?
I mean, it's job now.
Job.
It's
No.
basically, I mean, there's that, and then the other one that I mentioned was when Piper found out that outside the restaurant wasn't frozen, and she was just like,
Yeah.
"What? Oh God!"
I love that. I love how like short you're like there's a theme, whereas mine
Yeah.
always end up being a bit lengthy, but so
I'm gonna look at my book and see if they've got any quotes.
well, my
Uh,
favourite one was with Rex and Hannah. So when Rex says to Hannah, well, what do you think? Referring to Prue. And Hannah goes, I think she's either the luckiest woman alive or she's a witch. And I'm like, ooh.
Da, da, da.
I
Yeah.
loved that. Was there anything in your book?
The quote in my book is just Prue saying, "Our powers are not toys," which is true.
Oh, yeah, I like that
True.
one. That's very good.
This book is very difficult to read because the design.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that
Yeah,
is a bit bad on the eye.
I know, and it gets worse. Like in the back, it's like this.
Oh, gosh.
It's
Who came up with that
Oh
idea?
no. Yeah.
Stargazer said, I think Madonna actually did the first pay ringtone. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
𝐂𝐤𝐜𝐚 says, oh, when Andy turns up and they are like the car broke down and he just leans over and starts it. Oh, yeah, classic. Yeah. Oh, look at that. It's fixed, he says. Yeah. Perfect.
I did notice that in these first 2 episodes, Morris is really quite cocky, but in like a way that's nice. But he gets so much more mellow as the show goes on, and he's kind of he doesn't have that same. I don't know. It seems like a different character. In a couple of years' time, he's so different.
Perhaps they just changed him from audience reaction. Maybe I don't know. Be interesting to see.
Like, maybe that was just specific to his relationship with Trudeau. It was just that's the way he was with him. I don't know. But, yeah, it was interesting to see.
And it'd be interesting to watch that as well. Watch that play out. Yeah. Kirsty said, "Is that the Power of 3 episode guidebook?"
Oh yeah, the Book of 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I might have to get that myself.
Yeah.
So just 2 last quick things. I know we've gone over, but next time, obviously, we've got a bit of we can jump straight into it. So thanks for all sticking with us as well.
Yeah, great.
So Sister of the Week in this episode, Sister of the Episode, I should say.
Yeah.
Not the week. So who was your Sister of the Episode in episode 2?
Piper all the way.
Yes, I said Piper as well, 100%.
Why did you choose Piper?
Just purely for the way that she's dealing with her power and her fear of what might happen, and if she's a good witch or bad witch, and that whole church, like the whole church thing. I just thought she was brilliant in it.
Yeah,
I just love her. Yeah, I loved her.
I just feel
really did.
Holly Marie Combs just brings so much to that character. Like I feel like there's so much subtlety and like nuance in the way that she behaves. You know, there's so much going on. She's not just saying the lines. She's just brilliant. I think she brings so much to the character that is funny. Like she's really funny.
Yeah.
And sweet.
This role was made for her. I couldn't imagine anyone else doing the role.
No. Yeah, she's so great. Yeah.
And I've seen her like when I've been to like conventions and stuff. Like I've never actually like had a photo or met her, but I've seen as you know, just in passing, like when she's sitting at the table and the way she interacts with fans and things, she's still so passionate about it all, even now. I mean, even when she did the podcast with Shannon before she passed away and things like that. So she's still such a huge fan herself of Charmed, and I kind of like that.
I like the fact that she celebrates the show for the great things it achieved and what it meant to her and to so many people around the world. But also she kind of doesn't let it off the hook at the same time.
She stands up for what she believes.
Exactly. She wants it to be the best it can possibly be, and she recognizes when it wasn't. And I think that's a really lovely quality to have.
Yeah, definitely. Sharon said this is a lovely way to spend a Sunday. Oh, thanks, Sharon. And Melina said, and Trina, thank you guys. And Stargazer said, as always, fantastic chat. Loving the moustache, Josh.
Oh, thanks. Just being lazy, isn't it?
𝐒𝐤𝐜𝐚 said Piper was my fave sister in this episode. Yeah, Kirsty said Piper. Trina, Piper. Yeah, Sharon said Piper is the absolute heart of Charmed.
She is. They give her the best drama, I think, because they know that she can do it.
Definitely.
She does it so well. Like when Piper cries, I'm sorry, everyone cries.
Yeah. We need the tissues.
It's that special kind of magic.
Chelley said Piper is the glue. Love her.
Yeah.
Stargazer said, as I said before, Piper is usually my favourite. Speed Ratchet said, I love it when she says, I don't want to be in the middle. And Prue is like, well, you are the middle child.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't put you in the middle, you were born in the middle.
Definitely. So for episode 2, how many brooms out of 5 would you give this episode, Josh?
I would give all the sister stuff, I would give that like 4 out of 5. But because the Javna stuff is just a bit undercooked, I would probably overall give it maybe 2.5, 3, maybe 3. Let's say 3.
Yeah, so I said 3.5 on my little broom scale because I loved all the sister stuff, like you said, but the demon just let it down a little bit for me. Apart from when he says Javna.
Javna.
But yeah, so I think 3.5 for me. So we're roughly around the same. This is good.
I think we're like half a point out each.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got similar taste.
Yeah. Oh, well, Josh, this has been like amazing talking to you about it. I can't wait to do another one and watch the next 2 episodes. So we'll watch episodes 3 and 4. I know. And like, I know that we've gone like way over. I said to Josh, we'll probably go like 10 minutes over, but we've gone like really way, way over. But
we've actually talked for the amount of time that the 2 episodes took to watch, I think.
But it's been really interesting, like hearing like little facts that you know and seeing your memorabilia and the books and stuff. So please don't stop doing that. Because,
thank you for humouring me.
No, honestly, I love stuff like that and I find it fascinating. So
I'm going to go into the loft and I'm going to get out all of my memorabilia and I'll try to share it over the episodes.
Oh, that would be really cool. That would be really good. But obviously we wanted to discuss at the start like what charm meant to us and stuff.
Yeah, it still means so much to me. Like it's such. I feel similarly. I am not Holly Marie Coombs, but I feel similarly in that I love the show, and I always could see the potential in it and how amazing it could be. And when it hits hard in the best way. But then it could sometimes get a bit wobbly. So I love it, warts and all, as they say.
It's such a comfort show as well for me. Like. That's why I know I keep banging on about the music, but that's why when I was watching it on streaming and it didn't even have like the title episode music, that to me is a comfort. When I hear that song, that's comfort. So that's why I was like, no, I'm gonna have to do it. But it's such a comfort watch, and
it's lovely.
It was really, really nice. It gave me all them warm fuzzy feelings just watching it. Although, as I said, for some reason I don't remember those 2 episodes, but I must have seen them somewhere along the line.
It's like you're watching a brand new show. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's weird. And I've definitely, as I say, I've watched them out of order. I think that's my problem. So somewhere along the line.
I'm so excited to watch it with you in sequence and see your reactions to it.
I can't wait. I'm so glad we're doing this. And everyone in the chat saying, Trina said, love you saying Javna. But Kirsty said, I'm disappointed neither of you did a Javna cosplay. We did.
I'm doing it right now, guys.
Javna. Oh dear. And everyone's saying please keep sharing Josh, you know, everyone loves to see it all as well, so
all right, I will.
Oh well, thank you in the comments as well.
Thanks,
for like
everyone.
Sticking with us all this time and watching along, and please do carry on watching along with us, and we'll chat about episodes 3 and 4 next month, and I think Josh is going to host next month, so that's going to be weird for me. That is. That's going to be strange for me because I'm normally the one like,
are you actually like Prue and you want to be in control, Chelley?
Do you know what it is? I think I'm just so used to now asking the questions that now I'm like, I find it really weird when I don't. Like, it's strange.
We'll see how it goes.
It'll be nice. No, it'll be nice. It'll be a nice change. So all right. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Chelley. Thanks, everyone. See you next month.
Bye. Power of 3. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.